What's something strange your body does that you know isn't quite right but also isn't quite serious enough to get checked out by a doctor? Well, every once in a while my eyes will go blurry and I can't see for a few seconds. I've learned to wait it out, but it seriously freaked me out when I was younger, but from what I know, it's basically harmless. By the way, I have 20/20 vision, so it's not my eyesight getting worse over the years. I get that when I'm overly tired, then I won't be able to focus my eyes and I'll have to go to sleep. I don't need to pee. Then I really need to pee. Like if I don't get to a toilet ASAP, I am gonna pee myself. There's no in between. When I cough, a spot in the middle of my back itches like mad. Also, once every few months I'll turn my head a certain way and it feels like something snaps in my head and a sensation of warmth spreads out in my skull. Probably not a tumor. Oh, I get the warm thing. At least I'm not the only one. It's probably been 10 years since it's happened to me, but I know what you guys mean. Kind of hurts initially, but then this warmth just spreads through your head. I will sometimes catch myself mouthing, whispering the last sentence or phrase I spoke. Drives me insane. Edit. I'd like to self-diagnose this as palilalia. Seems to be exactly what I have. Drives me insane. Arc. I did it again. I have one piece of hair on my arm that is white and grows super fast and can get way longer than I've ever seen an arm hair be before. My sister has a single whisker that grows out of her forehead. You won't notice it until it's like 3 inches long. It's rigid and plucks very easily. Edit. One time when we were children, I plucked it when I was mad at her. I have one of those. And a few rare ones that pop up anywhere. The one on my arm is the old reliable, though. I've seen it mentioned on Reddit before. So do liberally salt this. And someone said it was because the DNA for the protein that makes dark pigment has a little mutation. That makes it make the same protein as a hair. So, your body is making a double hair instead of a dark hair. A hair. At totally random times it feels like my heart keeps skipping a beat. And I feel short of breath. It goes on for a few hours usually and then stops. I get rubber band headaches sometimes when I focus on doing a certain task. Sometimes the muscles in my hand will tense up and I have to use my other hand to unfold it. I have the first issue too. It is so uncomfortable that I have been to the ER 3 times for it and seen 2 cardiologists. Lots and lots of tests later we found out that my body is super sensitive to adrenaline. Does this happen for you when there's a situation that induces adrenaline? Nope. Most of the times it's happened is when I'm just laying in bed. I've seen a doc about it in the past. A long while ago. They just said it was my anxiety, but TBH I don't see how it could be because when it happens I'm never upset or anxious. Sometimes when I sneeze I get severe pain, stiffness, and pressure in my arms. Internet says it's a pinched nerve. It goes away after a few seconds. Never told a doctor about it, even though it's been happening since I was a kid. Sometimes I get this weird feeling like everything is going in slow-mo. In contrast, I feel like everything I do is at normal speed. My brain just wants me to do stuff and I feel this burst of energy that makes me feel great. However, there is always a moment where I feel like I should keep moving because if I stop something bad will happen to me. Usually lasts a few minutes tops. When I manage to calm down everything goes back to normal. Has been happening since I'm a kid. 24 now and still happens every year. That's your fight or flight response kicking in without a trigger. I have generalized anxiety and a panic disorder. The slow-mo is from the panic disorder when my fight or flight goes off without a trigger. It's happened to me doing laundry, walking into a room, all kinds of mundane stuff that does not justify the response. The first time it happened, I was 10 and it was accompanied by some auditory hallucinations. An overwhelming buzzing noise. I didn't know it was anything not normal and always just thought it was something cool. My brain could do. Wasn't until I was diagnosed with anxiety that we figured out what that was too. I get visual snow. That shit is annoying, but I don't know if there's a way to fix it. I just googled what this is and didn't realize that it isn't a normal thing that everyone has. Holy shit, same. I've had this for literally as long as I can remember. Used to bother me as a kid because with active imagination I'd see like human faces and shapes in the static, especially in the dark when there's no other sensory input, due to your brain naturally attempting to see faces and things. 100% thought it was ghosts as a kid. As an adult it's still spooky, but I got better at ignoring it. Had no idea this wasn't a thing everybody had. Sometimes I feel a very acute short pain in my chest. For like 1/10 of a sec. It feels like it's in between the ribs. Like they pinched the meat. Happens rarely, but been happening for years. Does it get worse when you breathe? That's what happens to me. Look up precordial catch syndrome. It happens to me and it sucks. Well, I didn't realize there were this many of us. I'm overwhelmed by the gratitude here. Thank you all. I'm happy that I was potentially able to help. Or at least ease some minds. I feel the need to close my eyes very tight about once every 5 minutes. Hopefully it doesn't make me look like a complete psycho. This sounds like a motor tic. Motor Tourette's. I have the same thing. But I rapidly blink and clench my eyes shut like constantly. As well as raising and lowering my eyebrows. So yeah, great fun. It does. I knew an ADHD kid that did the same thing. I get red marks on my body after I work out and sweat a lot. But they quickly disappear as soon as I cool down again. 100% normal until I work out again. It also feels itchy when the red marks are there. But the itch disappears with everything else eventually. Exercise-induced urticaria. I'm really happy that so many people have found this bit of info useful. Usually it can be treated with antihistamines. I, personally, have it to the extent that I need a shot called Xolair. It's expensive, but if you work with an allergist, you can get it approved through insurance. There is also a waiver program as your good luck and stay give-free. Am I reading this right? They're allergic to working out? Every once in a while holding a stack of books or a box or similar shaped stuff where the tips of my fingers bent, but the rest was straight. My fingers would lock in place, so I'd have to move my arms and hands in a specific way to unlock them and move my fingers properly. Have you noticed a lump on your wrist? Mine used to do this, and it turns out I had a ganglion cyst. I had a ganglion cyst in my wrist when I was younger. I went to the doctor and he essentially popped it. It came back with a vengeance a few months later. My grandpa said they used to be treated by hitting them with a Bible. So I smashed it with my math book. It hasn't been back in 23 years. Sometimes, the inability to tell the difference between being nauseated and hungry. That's not abnormal. The nausea is likely the result of a dip in your blood sugar. Wait, is that why sometimes I'm like, I feel hungry but also sort of nauseous, let me put candy in me? I assume I've just been stress eating. And if it's my blood sugar, why is it happening so much? Or am I just mildly addicted to sugar? My body doesn't let me know when I need to pee until it hurts. Like I could go a whole day without peeing and then wake up the next morning with intense stomach cramps that go away after a solid 5-minute pee. I can't tell you how many times I've been like, have I peed today? Well, you never know, and I sit down to discover that my bladder was full. Edit. It's nice to know I'm not the only one. After reading comments, I'm worried it might be some pinched nerves in my spine or something, because I'm realizing I only began having trouble telling I need to pee after I fell and bruised my tail. Boom. I haven't had kids yet, so it can't be because of a C-section. But I did get frequent UTIs in middle school. Around the same time I got my tailbone. Not sure if it was before or after that my mom never took me to get treated for. It lasted about 6 months and I would get so itchy that I'd scratch myself bloody. So it might be lasting damage from that. I also have ovarian cysts of the person who suggested I get my uterus checked out. It never occurred that they might be connected. My parents grew up as migrants, so they never went to the hospital unless they were dying, and that mindset has transferred over to us, so they almost never take us to the doctors. I'm heading off to college in a few weeks though, so I might stop by a free health clinic or something since I'll finally be able to. You might be super constipated. Sounds weird, but I went to a urologist for the same thing. They x-rayed me and that was the answer. That's true. My son was having trouble toilet training and it turns out he was badly constipated. Had to take laxatives for 3 months. Apparently it can affect the nerves that signal the need to go to the toilet.
Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.